Data entry. There's a few tricks regarding data entry. Let's open up the table that we have called TBL employee. I'm going to double click this table and it'll open up. I might even hit the shutter bar to close my navigation pane so I can see as much as I can on the screen. I'd like to add another record, so I'm just going to add a new record simply by going to this button here on the Home tab called New. Control plus is the shortcut key. Or I could go down here and hit this button, which is also to create a new blank record. Notice also that my descriptions are appearing here. Press enter, do not fill in, because I'm sitting on the ID. Let's use this button. I'm going to click this button to insert a new blank record. It says press enter, do not fill in, which was the description that I added to this field in the design of the table. So I press tab. Here the description says Mr., Mrs., Ms., etc. So I'm going to type Mrs. and automatically the auto number goes to 2. I'm then going to tab across to the first name, and this is where we enter, as described down here on the status bar. The description says enter the employee's first name. So I'm going to enter Kathy, and the last name is Barker. And I might repeat the job title. Now to repeat the job title, you can go control single quote or control apostrophe, whichever term you're more familiar with. But I'm going to go control apostrophe and it repeats what's above. I'll then tab across, and if my birth date was the same, control apostrophe, and if my hire date was the same, control apostrophe. But I live in a different street, so I'm going to just put Low Street. And Tauranga is the default, and I'll leave it as that. If I actually put Tokoroa and then decided no, I want to put it back to the default, I'll just go back to control spacebar. Oops, excuse me. Oops. I'm having trouble putting Tokoroa into my town and city because it goes against my validation rule. My validation rule I said that it had to be Tauranga or Taupo or Whakatane or Rotorua, and you can see my validation text is explaining that to me. So I'll go OK and I'll press escape, and escape will drop it back. I could then type Taupo, which is a valid entry, and press tab and move on. When it comes to the date, I'm thinking I should have shown you that there's actually a shortcut key concerning the date. If I go back, Shift Tab, to the hire date, and I want to enter today's date, Control semicolon is today's date. And I'll press Tab, and it'll put down that I was hired today. If I want to put a time, which is a little bit odd, I just want to show you that Control colon is a time. And so you've got Control colon and Control semicolon. But I'm going to go back and press Control semicolon to put today's date in. So there's a few shortcut keys with regards to data entry. Control semicolon for a date, Control colon for a time, and Control apostrophe to repeat what's above. So I'll move across to home phone, and I'll just put a phone number in. And I'll move across to email. I'll put myself on the same salary, Control apostrophe, and spacebar for yes, spacebar for no, so I'll put yes. And when I move across to photo, I might like to put a photo in here. So the idea here is I'll right click photo and I'll insert object. I'll then create from file and I'll browse. I'll then go to my desktop, for example, and choose an old photo of me. And there it is there. And double click. And I'll click OK. And I've got a photo in there. Unfortunately, the table can't show the photo. So when we come to forms, you'll be able to see the photo. But that's how you put the photo in. When I tab across to the next field, this is a long text field. And so this is where you can type lots and lots of text. And for that reason, I may want to actually increase the row height. I'm just going to drag down and increase the row height. Now you can't increase the row height of one cell. You have to, when you increase the row height, it's for all cells. So all cells are considered equal in the eyes of Access. But what I wanted to show you is this. There's one line. And then if I want to put something on a new line, I'm going to go Control Enter so that I can get a line break. And this is another line. And Control Enter to create a third line. If you don't want all your text just to be one long string, you can in fact, let me just widen this column, you can in fact use Control Enter for a line break, which is really useful as well. Now the other thing that you can do is you've got the attachments field. If I double click this field, I can add an attachment. And I'll just grab, say, the photo and open that and OK. And now it tells me I've got one attachment on this particular field. If I double click and go add, I could add a second attachment. So let's just say I go and grab this document. And now I've got two attachments. And I can double click to see what those two attachments are. If I wish to remove the attachments, I'll click it and I'll remove it. If I wish to save it as or save a different location or open it, I've got these various options here. But I'm just going to go OK and leave it at one attachment. The other thing you can do is if you have an awful lot of typing in a particular field, or if you don't want to increase the row height, let me just reduce the row height of this back to normal. If I want to zoom into this particular field, I'm going to press the key combination Shift F2. Shift F2 allows you to zoom into a field, and this is particularly useful if you've got a field that's long text and could potentially hold up to 65,536 characters. You really want to be able to zoom in and clearly read what's going on. You can also use the font button to change the font of what you're actually seeing, which can be quite useful as well, especially if you need to make it larger. There is the ability also to copy and paste. I'm just going to go cancel to the zoom. If I wish to copy and paste, I can copy and paste. Let me just go back home to the beginning of the row. I could copy and paste certain things. So I might copy and paste this. I'll hit the copy button up here, or Control C as it mentions. Control C. I'll go down arrow, Control V to paste. Or you can use the paste button. I might then go back up. Oops, now I have to continue with the first name. So let me just put I might choose a different title and a different date of birth. And then I might want to copy the higher date from above. So I'll go up, but I can't. I actually can't copy and paste sometimes depending on your rules. So by moving up, of course it will save record 3. Well, it can't save record 3 because we need to put a salary in, not 0, that's greater than or equal to 20,000. So I actually have to go across here and put in a value so that I can then go up here and copy, Control C, and down, Control V. Go up here, copy, Control C, down, Control V. So you can copy and paste, but you must be mindful some of the rules that you put in place may not allow you to copy and paste. I might also decide that Mrs. Joe Blogs is joining us, and so I'd really like to just take a copy of this entire row. This here at the left hand side is called a record selector. I'm going to click the record selector to select the entire row, or you can press Shift Spacebar. Oops, let me just Shift Spacebar. And I'm going to copy the entire row, and then I'm going to click below, and I'm going to choose to Paste Append. And that is, I want to append that record at the foot of this table. And this is my record 4. Then I'll change this to Mrs. and put Carol, and that's Joe's wife. She basically has the same birth date, the same address, the same phone number, the same mobile, and other details can then be edited accordingly. If I want to edit the email to say Carol at Extra, I'll press F2. I will change Joe to Carol, and there it is there. So F2 allows you to edit as well. So a number of tricks regarding data entry.